not even probably. My train killed somebody. You know. Yo, everyone, what is going on? We are here for episode 127, the back trouble episode. I explained, why I'm kind of a little bit low key this episode. Also, why this is a short episode because you can probably guess I'm having a few back issues, but nothing major. But my son fucked me up. I explained it, don't worry. But we finish up very quickly the questions from the past two episodes, a real fucked up political issue, and then I give you a documentary and some shit for you guys to watch. I think that you're really gonna appreciate at the end. Of course, the links are in the description, but just listen to the episode, and then when you're done, you can go ahead and listen and check it out. Of course, before you do that, I've been forgetting the past few episodes, but I just remembered. Remember to like, remember to subscribe, share would be sharing somewhere would be helpful too. Tell your friends, tell your parents, tell tell everyone about this wonderful podcast, wonderful YouTube channel, wherever you're watching it. Do that would be very appreciated. At least a heart, somewhere, at least a comment. If you're listening to it on audio, just take your time and write a review of it would be nice. Again, I'm just gonna keep badgering you until you do it. So all right, but after you do that, enjoy. Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the podcast, episode 127. This is going to be a low-key kind of chill one for me for a few different reasons. One reason. My son fucked me up. Like the past few days, my son has really been into wrestling. We wrestle sometimes, but he likes jumping on my back. And the other day, we were wrestling around. He was on my back, hanging all on me. And something tweaked in my back a little bit. So my back's still kind of tender. So I'm not gonna be moving around too much. I'm trying to keep my shit to a minimum because I had today off, but I have to work tomorrow. My back is a lot better than it was yesterday, and I think the day before. The past 2 days, it's been kind of funky. So I'm alright. I should be alright. It's not like anything big, but it's still a little tender. So I'm just trying to rest as much as possible because tomorrow I have a full day of work. I'm going to be moving around. I'm going to be sitting in a chair all day. So I'm going to wear a little medicated pad on it. But, just me sitting here, moving around, touching stuff on the computer, I can feel a little bit my back's like. So if you see me twinge a little bit, that's why. But it's no big deal. Don't worry about it at all. It's really not that bad. I went to IKEA today, and so pushing around the cart. Once it started getting a little full, I was telling my wife, I kind of need you to push this, because I wasn't in pain, but I could feel I'm putting a little strain on my back, and I need to save that for tomorrow. Just rest up as much as I can for tomorrow, just so that I can get through the day as smoothly as possible. But that's about it for me. Nothing else too crazy. Oh no, there's some crazy shit that happened yesterday. Okay. This actually ties in. I'm just going to jump straight into the topic, just wrap up, because I was actually, anticipating the questions. We had some great questions the past two episodes from that list. And I was like, okay, what else is on there? And I really should have looked at the list more carefully because at the last episode, I was like, we'll finish it next time. But there's only one more question on the list. So I'm going to actually just finish that. And then it ties up into a little interesting, I don't know if it was something I got to tell you guys. So, okay. The last point on this list, and we'll finish it up, is Japanese people are overworked. And yeah, I would say, just generally speaking, Japanese people are overworked, especially when you're comparing them to Western standards, is what I would say. The person says yes and no. But I would say compared to Western standards, yes. Just your average office worker, generally speaking, is going to work overtime. I would say for me, just let's say an average either married man, or unmarried person, male or female. I would say the average work time, again, starting at 9, finishing between 8 and 9 o'clock would be like average work time across the board, for most people. Of course, there are some, what's the word? There are some, I'm drawing a blank. Sorry, you can see I'm just not fully 100% this episode. But there are some exceptions to that rule. But generally speaking, my image, if I think like of a seishine, which is a regular worker, I'm thinking they're working until 8 or 9 o'clock every weeknight. So they're putting like 11, 12-hour days, then maybe going out to eat dinner with their colleagues as well after that. Like, that's just what it is. Now, of course, like I said, I've seen it go I've heard, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, last train every night, 5 nights a week, having to take a taxi home, like, working from like 9 to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 days a week for years on end. I've heard that as well. So, the majority of people, basically overtime is kind of expected in this country in some form or another. Now, that doesn't mean like if you work for a Japanese company or a foreign company, that's necessarily the case. More likely with a Japanese company, that's probably going to be the case. But from what I've heard anecdotally, it seems that Japanese companies or companies in Japan that rewind. Japanese companies that hire foreign people kind of do it with the understanding that foreign people aren't going to work the same hours as Japanese people, generally speaking. So, if you're polite and obey the kind of etiquette rules of the Japanese office, you can kind of leave on time, and people will kind of just, again, put you in that box. Like, okay, the foreign person leaves at 6 or 7 o'clock, whatever, that's just the way it is. And no one will kind of get in your face about it. It's just the way it is, but you're just kind of get put in a category that's different from everyone else, right? Like I would say if you work for a foreign-based company, the rules might be a little bit different. But then again, I've heard several Japanese people who work with foreign colleagues and, for a foreign company here in Japan, and they're like, all the non-Japanese people leave right at 6 o'clock, and which is everything's 9 to 6, not 9 to 5 like it is in America. Lunchtime is kind of considered separately. So yeah, like, the Japanese people are working hard and the foreign people just leave. And that's something that's across the board. I think in every company that I'm seeing where Japanese people and foreign people work side by side, that's just something that's going to happen. Now, what that ties into is something that happened to me last night. So last night I went out and met one of my mentors, a friend, mentor, not older, like a guy in his 40s, owns an IT company. He's kind of helped me out quite a bit, and we've really become friends. Helped me out in business. I've worked with him, taught some of his staff, and just hanging out, drinking, stuff like that. Like I call him a friend, and he calls me a friend. So, this project, my next project, I'm working on planning, in the planning process of, for English study. I wanted to get some feedback from him, so we had dinner and drinks and talking and stuff like that. Great time. On my way back home, it was my first time where my train basically ran over somebody. Like my train, not even probably, my train killed somebody, going back home, riding through central Tokyo. It was maybe about like almost 10 o'clock at night. And, I think we were pulling into the station near Tokyo Station, like 1 or 2 stops away from Tokyo Station. and the emergency brakes hit. I feel a little bit of rumbling. I'm guessing that was where the train hit the body. And I just see people running, staff running back and forth, like, oh shit, running all over the place, running back and forth. And then the ambulance emergency crew came out, and then the train people were like, okay, well, we are opening up the first car of the train, so if you want to exit, you can exit the first car. So I had to basically everyone made a beeline, walk into the first car of the train. And I had to pass where the body was. It was definitely a body, because they weren't like rushing to really, pull anyone out of there. And, the whole thing was taped off with tape, and they're looking under and stuff like that. And, I can't even imagine what they were seeing. I'm glad I didn't take it. Like, I was like, I'm not gonna look, like, of course, like there was one or two people trying to peep over, and see what I guess between the platform and the train. But like, I ain't trying to see that. I'm trying to see a mangled body. Like, no thanks. So after a stomach full of Chinese food and beer, I'm good. So luckily, like the two train lines, there are two major train lines. The Yamanote line, which you've heard me talk about, is a loop, and the Keihin-Tohoku line, which is kind of runs parallel to the Yamanote line on one section. So I could. And the Keihin-Tohoku line basically runs from Saitama, which is a suburb which is a prefecture north of Tokyo, through Tokyo all the way down to Yokohama, where I was going. So in that section, the two train lines run parallel to each other. One's green, one's blue. It's kind of cool. It's like they're racing. But yeah, so I could jump off and jump onto the Yamanote line, and because in my frame of mind, I was like, well, if they're scraping this body off the fucking train tracks, like this train's probably not going anywhere for a while. So it was a longer course for me to take the Yamanote line and another train to get to where I was going. But I was like, yeah, fuck it. And normally it would take me like an hour to get back home, but like it took me like over 2 hours to get home, like just that way. And then by the time I got there, like my bus had already gone, the last bus is gone, so I had to take a taxi. And I was waiting for the bus. I thought the bus was going to come, but like the schedule was wrong, I guess. I don't know. So like I just stood around. I was just like, well, I got 20 minutes to kill, let me go drink another beer. So I went to the convenience store, drank a beer, went back, bus is still not there. I'm like, well, actually, the bus probably came while I was drinking the beer. Now that I think about it, I probably just like went off to drink a beer and just missed my bus. That's probably what happened, actually, because it was before 11 o'clock when I went off to drink a beer. So it's my fault, whatever. But and on my way on the Yamanote line, because I was like, kind of, what the fuck? Because when I almost got to Shibuya Station, I looked on the thing and it explained that the Keihin-Tohoku line started running again, which completely shocked me because, I don't know how they I guess they were like, just fuck it, just, I don't know, like, got everyone out of there, scraped the body off, hose everything down, and kept moving. I don't know what the fuck they did, but I was shocked that they could like do all that like in an hour. Because I mean, okay, let me just stop talking about this because I'm not trying to really think about this too much. But but pretty much there's only two possibilities. Well, actually, let me go back before I say that, because if you heard me talk about suicides and stuff like that before, you've heard me talk about those gates that they put on the train platforms, right? And they've been installing them in train lines like all over Tokyo, all over Yokohama. And the sad part is that station, remember you said they run parallel to each other. The Yamanote line had it, but the Keihin-Tohoku line didn't have those gates. So the person that either fell or jumped onto the tracks could really only do that because they hadn't installed those gates, those like anti-suicide gates, I guess there were, I don't know, safety gates. Let's call them safety gates. Because they hadn't installed those safety gates on that on that platform yet, which is kind of sad. So that time of night, it was either, I would say, either that person was drunk and fell onto the tracks, or they were maybe overworked, stressed out, and just said fuck it, and just like, just took a fucking swan dive onto the train tracks. I mean, I'm not gonna judge. I'm not gonna, rest in peace, whoever that was. I'm not gonna say which one it was. I'm not gonna really judge like that. But just given the fact that it was a Thursday late at night, it is, and Japan's kind of opening up. I mean, Tokyo area is kind of opening up again, so it could be that person was at a drinking party, and all of the bars and restaurants do close earlier. It is 50-50 whether it was like, for falling on the tracks or suicide. So I can't really judge what it is, what it is. But it was kind of like, I mean, I wasn't like all fucked up about it. I mean, like, I mean, I don't know what to say, but it was kind of like, oh, okay, this is what happens when someone falls on the tracks, kind of thing. So I've seen it on the news. I've seen announcements about it. I read about it, but that was my first time actually seeing what happens when that situation happens. So it was kind of a, for lack of a better word, interesting kind of situation. All right, so let me see what's that. Okay, we're 15 minutes in. All right, so that's that for that article. Again, people are overworked. Okay. Again, sorry, just leaning over, pushing these buttons is kind of like, yeah. But anyway, let me move over. I got something for you. No, I'm gonna save that for the end. An article that I want to talk about, which is in the description wherever you're watching this. Horrifying new U.S. rules on online college courses leave Japanese students in limbo. I don't know if you've heard about this where you are, but it's kind of like some really surprising news for me. Basically, America, I think work visas and student visas as well, is really basically kicking out non-American people. The current administration, I'm not going to get into it too deeply, but is kicking people out, basically. So in this article explains that, I'll just deal with the college situation, that basically college students who are studying abroad in the United States, if they are on a student visa in the United States, but their university goes to 100% online courses, which apparently a lot of American universities are doing, the majority might be doing, they're not, it kind of makes their visa invalid, and they'll either have to transfer to a university that does have in-person classes, or they'll have to leave America. Now, that's kind of crazy to me. And I guess it's to kind of kick out a lot of Chinese students studying abroad, which apparently there's a large amount of, but students from other countries, especially even Japan, that's kind of like a pretty extreme measure, in my opinion. Like, I know I'm really happy for, and I have to talk to my student, because one of my students, I teach her mom currently, and I used to teach her daughter before she went to college in America. Like, she was a high school student. She graduated from school in America, like this past semester. So if she hadn't finished up, or if she, and I mean, her school went to complete online classes. So if she would have had to take a summer course or something like that, she would have been fucked up. She would have probably literally not been able to graduate from school in America. And yeah, like her, I mean, she already got her job offer and everything. So that would have just fucked her whole life up. So she got really, really lucky that she got the fuck out of there before this shit went down. And so, hopefully, I mean, if you know someone, who's in a similar situation, or someone who is studying abroad, like, on a student visa or something, even like a work visa, you might want to get in contact with them, because they might have to leave the United States because it's bullshit. Let me just say it like that. So that's that. Again, like I said, I'm just speeding through these topics. I got one more thing for you, then I'm gonna get out of here, you guys. Again, this is not a long episode at all. Just please bear with me. I can't really expand too much, move around too much. I'm just trying to be really careful tonight. And again, I got a long day tomorrow. No, it's not a long, busy day, but I got a feeling my back is going to make me have to walk on eggshells all day. So, the last thing I have for you guys is a pretty interesting. It's two videos, but like, the first one is about school festivals a game that's been played on during school festivals. I'm thinking it was played in the past. I might have heard about it in the past, but it's so dangerous it was banned. But apparently during for like the Japan Self-Defense Academy, I guess, basically the military academy for Japan, they still play this game. It's called Taoshi. Right, and the first video is two videos related to this. I have heard of this game, but I forgot why. I was just fishing around and it came up. And the first one actually explains, the first video explains this game, the rules and stuff like that. And the guy does a pretty good job of explaining it, but I really get the feeling he does not live in Japan or does not know anything about Japanese, because he completely butchers the name of it. Botaoshi, I think he says like Botaoshi or some shit like that, but it's Botaoshi, right? And bo meaning pole or stick, and Taoshi means to like for example, pull down or fall down, like to pull down, basically. Taoshi, to pull down. So pulling down a big stick, and that's pretty much the rule of the game. But he explains it. I watched that first video, which explained it quite a bit in a bit of detail. And then the second one is a really, really good like 10-minute documentary that documents actually the players at I think I'll just call it the military academy in their tournament. And so I would recommend you watch the dude's I'm sorry. It was distracting, like how terrible his pronunciation was, and just I really got the feeling he just does not. I think he's an Asian dude, but he just doesn't strike me as understanding Japan at all. Not knocking the dude. Thank you for putting up the content, but like, come on, dude. Like, come on. Okay, it just felt like he just read some shit from Wikipedia, but it's really interesting game. The second documentary is really, really well done, really, really well shot, and it gives you, I think, a glimpse into the samurai spirit of Japan. People who have, like, Japanese people get a tendency of being really peaceful and really, what's the word? In modern times, being, let's just say, very peaceful, very passive, things like that. But there's another side to the Japanese personality. And this kind of shows the fire that does come out in Japanese people sometimes. And some people are like this. Of course, similar to, I was thinking about before here, similar to like America, the military. I would imagine a lot of these soldiers, a lot of these students come from smaller towns and things like that, because I don't really know anyone in the Tokyo area who joins like Jieitai, or which the self-defense force. But just watching TV and stuff like that, it seems like it's much of a bigger factor in smaller towns, which is a similar thing that happens in America as well. So it's a solid career and things like that. But the documentary is really good. I really recommend it. The second one, the first video, just get through that so you can understand what the fuck is going on. Because the second documentary doesn't really explain any of the rules of Botaoshi, but I found it really interesting. It's just like 10, 15 minutes, like a little over 10 minutes, but it's really well shot. A lot of slow motion, like, oh, kind of shit. You watch these dudes just fuck each other up. Like, the first video, I think he shows them fucking each other up really a lot, because they kind of fuck each other up. But, but it was interesting. So check that out. And yeah, I'm going to just leave things there. Again, my bad for such a short, it's just like 20 something minutes. My bad for such a short episode, but really not, not into the groove. I'm trying to groove and I just can't groove at all. So, if you watch it on video, I'm very animated, I'm doing a whole bunch of shit. I'm feeling fine. It's just like, I'm sure you can understand. If anyone who's had back issues, I'm sure you can understand how I feel. So that's it. Don't worry. I'll be fine in a few more days. I just need to just stay off of it as much as possible. So, and going to fucking IKEA today didn't really help. So whatever. All right, yo. Well, let me leave things off here. Wish my back good luck. And I will, oh, wait. Is there anything I want to say? No. I'll just leave it here. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.